So we end up taking this SBX 500 trade, and I like this trade. I like how it happened. I like the setup on it. We did have the right analysis, but it just how important timing and entry is a key factor because we got in this trade and it went to our overall direction, but we got stopped out. Let's talk about it. So you see, we have this major fee up here uh, on this downtrend. There was an impulsive breakdown, breaking many structures, broke one, two, three, broke three structure points. So this was our low. Of course, price pushed up. You see where it came back to this level here that it broke, came back retesting and continued down, made its way to this negative 27. And you see at this negative 27, this is actually the daily that we broke. So we was coming back to retest that daily because the overall structure is bullish. We broke above, we came back to retest that daily, and their price, started to push up. And at this point, we was actually just watching to see if price was going to how price was going to react to this previous lower high. So you see you have the impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. This right here is the previous higher low. This right here made a lower low. Well, actually, would it be this one right here? This made a lower low. This made a higher low. And this made a lower low. So this point here is what the area we would have been watching for to see a structure being maintained. And of course, you see price made its way to this point, and we had this impulsive breakup. So I just had this field here, started from the low to the high. You see price pulls back 23.6. Just tell us continuation of the trend. They just let us know it's going to continue to buy. And you see price, actually pushed up. Well, actually, at the time, we didn't have this field here. At the time, we had this field back once we got this break above. So once we seen this push up here, then that's when we drew it. We seen, okay, 23.6. Okay, after we have a break, we look for a correction. So that was my mindset going into it. And this is more so like the major structure, but this field here was more so what it's doing now. So I zoom in so you can see a little better. I start at the low, and this is your break, this is your impulse, and I'll just wait for that correction. So at the time when I entered this position, I entered actually here is around 6 o'clock. Actually, it was right here, maybe like 6:30. So I entered off this 6:30 candle, and I was just saying, you know, just get out work, getting ready to lay down, uh, and I actually like what just happened. I like the breakup, and I like that this looks like a what do you call it, a retest of this structure point for the continuation. But in fact, if we zoom in, it didn't retest. You know what I'm saying? This well, actually, it did retest this high, but sometimes I would usually like to see it retest my line. So this is the point that I drew on the chart. I would actually like to see it bounce off area like that. But we know we have to be able to adjust with the market and see that we had situations where price could have done something like this and continued up. But in this situation, it did that. I got in my entry here. At this point, I was looking at I was looking at this here. So long position. So if I enter about here, this is short right here. If I enter here, I was targeting this negative 27. My stop loss was like around right here. So it was going for like nearly a 2 to 1. Um, like I said, at this point, I really didn't have structure low besides this point here, which I entered it. Uh, and I say I like this trade because overall we was correct in the direction. We were still willing to take the risk, even though it was, we had those few uh, things in our way in front of our bodies. And I say I like this because it's a learning lesson for me. So what I can do and improve to improve this. Overall, I was seeing the correct thing. What I could have done is set my alerts here. Well, first thing, once we got this right here, I could have let this 30-minute candle here close. If I would have let that 30-minute close, I would have seen, how price react. And I'd be like, okay, even though I seen this as a potential break and retest, that following candle was not the strongest confirmation for me. And we see obviously price started to push down, push down, push down. Pull down to the 88.6. Had this nice wick up. Okay, I like how they look. Next candle just nice bearish and go for, oh, I really like that one. So they would have gave us a situation where we could have potentially entered here for a second position or the first position with a stop loss down here, still targeting this negative 27. Or we could have had it, yeah, it probably would have been like that. And it would have gave us about a 1-to-1, which, well, if we would have entered here, it would be less than a 1. So in a situation like that, we probably would have had to make some type of adjustments. And I don't know if I would still take a trade like that. That's a good question for myself. Even though if I know if price is going to head to this area, this negative 27, am I still willing to take this trade if it's less than a 1-to-1? That's a great question to ask myself. Because we see the stop loss would have been below the low and take profits here at this negative 27. And it easily has the ability to continue higher. So there may be a situation where it does continue higher, but we do see it did reach that negative 27 point, which is, my original, uh, take profit. And that's the reason why I say I actually like this trade, and we're just taking it as a learning lesson. So I'm actually gonna delete that, and I think I think I'm gonna redo this field right here because I'm not sure if I fully like how they look. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for that. We did see gold happen, and we didn't take a position on this one. I would have liked to take a position on this, of course. Who wouldn't have? Um, at the time we was watching this, I didn't have this field down here first. I believe the field may have been like this. It may have been like that, but after the move happened, I adjusted that field. So I did have this line here. It do look like I have an alert on it. So this could be a learning lesson as far as like how could we see a, what would you call this? A continuation of the sale? Because sometimes price reacts differently at these areas. So in this situation, we see price pull down, made a lower low, and price came back up, retest uh this resistance point, this higher low. Pardon me. Uh, what is this top? So this is the high. This is your lower low. This is your higher low. Okay, so price came back to retest this higher low before rejecting it and continuing on down uh, to this low here. And that would have been actually so at the time I was actually watching this and seeing this, but I didn't take this entry, so that definitely would have been a good one, especially when it did this here. Push down, came back and retest, what I'm saying, and continue down for this sale. So good trades happened so far. It's still early in the week. It's Tuesday. I do think there's still going to be some great moves to capitalize off of going forward this week. And I'm loving my growth. I'm loving my progress. And hey, good job.